Kia ora. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Alvi. Today we're doing a little painting with the Koh-i-Noor six colour set. I've had this for a while. I've used it before, but I haven't used it in ages, so I thought I'd give it another shot. At the time it was $4.10, which is really cheap just for paint in general. But yeah, it's student grade. It's we'll get into the details, but prices might have gone up since, and this is New Zealand dollar. I think that's all the introduction we really need. I've got a sketch down that you can't really see, but we've got swatches along the side too. This is just 300 GSM paper, not cotton though, so we'll give these some swatches. I haven't pre-wet them, so I'm just putting a drop of water on each of the colours, and we'll start with the red. Didn't sit for too long with the water on it, which is nice. Nice little swatch there. And then we'll go yellow. I feel like these are like quite the standard starter set that you see people use. Not all the time, but like sets like this with the kind of round wheel style. I feel like I saw that quite a bit. I am pretty sure these are just dye-based paints, so they won't be light fast. So they'll fade in like direct sunlight and stuff. So they're more for like sketchbooks and stuff, rather than like I'm gonna sell this painting kind of pieces. I do have to say it is a nice range of 6 colours. Like you've got a blue, yellow, green, black and brown. Although it is a warm it is a warm red and blue, so that means you can't really get a nice purple. So if you were trying to paint florals, I would not say this is your palette. Well, a palette for you to get. Might as well start the painting at the same time. You also don't really get a proper palette with this. Like you get the lid and that's about it. If you're using the lid over white paper like I am right now, it's okay. But you don't always have have white paper. You can just chuck your paint onto, or palette onto. To get kind of a cool blue rather than a warm blue, I'm adding a bit of the green to see how that goes, so it's not as warm. That kind of works. I am aware that if you use too much pigment versus water, it becomes quite chalky, so you can rub the kind of fillage stuff off the paper and smudge it around and stuff, which is really gross, but also just something to be aware of. So if you're like heavily layering it up, you can easily just smudge it away, which is classic behavior in cheap paint, so nothing unexpected. But if you use it lightly and don't build it up too much, it'll be fine. I think it is a cheap set, this one, but not all cheap sets are bad. I think something that really does help when painting with cheap sets is having good paper. I feel like this is what people say a lot, have good paper and stuff, but it really does make a difference when it comes to painting. It like just makes painting enjoyable rather than like a struggle to get like the right colors down and stuff like that. So rather than investing in great watercolors straight away, I would say invest in like thicker paper, higher quality paper, instead of like using printer paper and stuff. That'd be the first thing I would recommend investing into. There was a bit of snow on the mountain when this photo was taken, so put that in the shadows. Ignore the background noises. My dad's doing some stuff in the shed, I think. I'd assume. It's quite weird painting on the side. Still getting used to it. Can be a bit trippy. It's like, where is that in this sketch I have done? But it's the best way I can get a setup where the phone isn't shaking for you guys when you watch it. And I'm still able to see what I'm painting and stuff. Basically. With minor complications. I want a more orangey kind of colour. I've had this set for ages. I know there are larger sets you can get as well. And larger sets are good if you already, if you don't want to learn how to mix colours and stuff. But I really love mixing colours, and I do recommend learning just like a little bit of colour mixing, just because it makes it cheaper later on if you ever need to start getting if you want to start getting professional grade paints and you don't want to get so many colours. You just get the basics, and you know what the basics are that you want to get. You know how to mix with them and stuff. But yeah, I guess if you don't want to learn mixing colours, it's not for everyone. But it is a good skill to know eventually, I don't recommend this one as your first student grade paint. It's just because it can be a bit tedious. It's fine to use once you figure out how to use it, but it's not really true watercolor just because of the opaque chalkiness that can come about with it. But if this is the only thing available to you, that's completely understandable, and you got to start somewhere. So yeah, your palette shouldn't limit you. But there are definitely better student grade paints out there, especially if you can order stuff online. I'd recommend that over just getting whatever is in your stores. If this is the only thing in your stores, but you can order student grade paints online, I'd recommend getting student grade paints online. Winsor & Newton, they're quite expensive student grade paints. I wouldn't really recommend them. They are good, but they're more affordable options out there. I know, I can't remember the name of it. Completely slipped my mind. Whatever it was called, that brand. But it's usually easy to tell what are chalky paints just by the look of them. They kind of look like they should be makeup containers or something. Usually if you rub your finger on it when it's dry, you get, I don't know if it's going to focus, you get the pigment on your fingers, even though it's wet, dry paint. It just lifts up so easily. Yeah. This is a set that I'd only really use to do a YouTube video on, but I did use it a lot. When I was just getting into watercolour at the very beginning, my sister had this set, and I think she had a few other sets of colours by them, which have long since been lost. Probably just chucked out, or I don't know where they've ended up. Something's happened to them. But yeah, not something I'd come back to use. Like some student grade sets, I like using just in like sketches and stuff, so I don't waste like my professional grade paints on just like sketches and fun paintings. But I wouldn't want to use these for those kind of sketches just because they're quite frustrating to use and not fun. Like, it's okay, but I know there are paints out there that are just better. Let's just say, use a bit of tissue. They do lift really easily, if that's important to you. Let's just lighten this sky a bit. And yeah, add a bit more blue into that snow that's been a little lost. And maybe a little bit more highlight in the path. Quite interesting. It looks like it granulates. It's just the pigments and filler and stuff separating. It's not like actual granulation from high quality pigments. Don't be fooled by that. Definitely fun to use though. And yeah, that's all. Thank you guys for watching. Overall, if there are better options where you are, get them. Or just get a small set, see how you feel about it, and if you like it, you can get more. It is a cheap set, so you get what you pay for. To make this an enjoyable set, invest in good paper. If you're using this paint on it, your good paper, it should be fine. But yeah, overall, thanks for watching, and have a good day.